You know the feeling, right? You get this incredible idea for a side hustle. You're fired up, you dive in head first, ready to build your empire after hours. But then, a few weeks, maybe a few months go by, and that initial fire just sputters out. The project stalls, and you're left feeling like you failed. Well, I'm here to tell you, you are not alone, and it's probably not your fault at all.
So what is really going on here? If it's not about a lack of passion or a bad idea, why do so many of these promising side projects just fizzle out for people who have demanding day jobs? That's the big question we're going to unpack right now.
And here it is, the core of the whole thing. The reason so many of us give up isn't because we're weak or lazy. It's not that you didn't want it badly enough. The real problem is that the entire blueprint we're told to follow, it's just fundamentally broken from the get-go.
Okay, so let's get right into the heart of the issue, which I like to call the side hustle paradox. See, there's this huge gaping chasm between the hustle culture advice we see all over the internet and the actual reality of holding down a 9 to 5. And it's right inside that gap where most side projects go to die.
This right here shows that disconnect perfectly. On the left, you've got the expectation we're all sold, this idea that we'll have endless time and energy after 5 p.m. But on the right, well, that's the reality we actually live in. Your day job doesn't just eat up your time, it drains your willpower, it tanks your focus, it sucks up your best creative energy. You aren't starting fresh at 6 p.m., you're running on fumes.
So, this fundamental mismatch, it leads to some very real but often hidden costs. These are the things that are quietly sabotaging your efforts, usually without you even realizing what's happening.
Let's start with this key idea, cognitive switching. Think of it like a mental tax you have to pay every single time you shift gears between different kinds of tasks. After a long day of jumping between spreadsheets, meetings, and analytical work, asking your brain to suddenly become a creative genius or a marketing wizard at night is incredibly exhausting. It's exactly why you can feel totally fried even when you technically have a few hours of free time.
And that mental drain, it leads directly to these classic failure points. We expect this hockey stick growth, but our reality is way more limited. We build these incredibly fragile projects like a house of cards that collapses the second we have a busy week at work. We get so focused on the small financial risk that we ignore the big one, threatening the very job that gives us the stability to even try this stuff. And of course, we chase the trendy, hyped-up idea instead of something that actually, fits into our life.
So if you take one thing away, let it be this. The single biggest mistake we make is trying to follow a playbook written for someone with a totally different life. You're trying to build with the same intensity as someone who doesn't have a demanding 9 to 5. It's like trying to sprint a marathon. You are setting yourself up for burnout right from day one.
Okay, but it doesn't have to be this way. There is a much smarter, more sustainable way to approach this, and it all starts by throwing out the old broken question and asking a much, much better one.
All the typical advice pushes us to ask, how can I grow faster? How do I get results now? But this question just creates this immense pressure that leads straight to burnout. What if that's just the wrong question entirely? Here is the game-changing shift in thinking. The question is not about speed, it's about survival. How do you design a project that can actually withstand the reality of your life? The crazy weeks at work, the low-energy nights, the unexpected family stuff. Sustainability, not speed, is the new name of the game. So let's get practical. Let's move into the solution. This is a framework that isn't about hype or hustle. It's all about designing something that is truly compatible with your actual, real life.
This whole framework is built on 4 really simple principles. First, design for energy. Stop planning your side hustle for your best, most motivated day. Plan it for your average, tired, brain-dead Tuesday night. Second, prioritize reversibility. Life happens. Your project needs to be able to survive a week or even a month of neglect without completely falling apart. Third, choose leverage. We're going to get into this more, but it's about creating assets, not just selling hours. And finally, narrow the scope aggressively. Think smaller. One tiny specific problem for one very specific person.
And this table right here perfectly breaks down that idea of leverage versus volume. A volume-based hustle is just trading your very limited time directly for money. Think about doing custom freelance projects. It's a constant grind. But a leverage-based hustle, that's about creating an asset one time, like a digital template or an ebook, that can then work for you over and over again. The effort is high up front, sure, but the ongoing work is low. And for anyone with a day job, leverage is really the only sustainable path forward. And finally, you have got to protect your foundation. Your job is not the enemy here. It's the engine that's funding your freedom to even experiment in the first place. So treat your side hustle like a fun experiment. The outcome is just data, it is not a final verdict on your self-worth. And you have to accept that slower growth isn't a sign of failure. It's actually a sign that you're building something sustainable.
So when we bring all this together, what we're really talking about is a complete redefinition of what success even looks like for a side hustle when you already have a career you care about.
This is the ultimate takeaway. A side hustle should not be some frantic, stressful escape hatch that just adds more pressure to your life. Its real purpose is to slowly, calmly, and sustainably build new options for your future, giving you more freedom and control, not more desperation. So here's your new model, your new playbook. First, design for compatibility with your real life. Second, leverage the skills and knowledge you already have from your day job. Third, keep the project small and make sure you can hit the pause button. And always choose long-term sustainability over short-term hype. You see, if you just reframe the goal away from a desperate escape and toward the calm, steady creation of new possibilities, everything changes. So the final question I want to leave you with is this. If your side hustle is meant to add options, not pressure, what new option are you going to choose to build for yourself?